Hey guys, welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review. I'm your host, Sarah Stevenson, and this is my co host, Mike Stevenson.
Hi guys.
And as usual, I haven't said this very often enough, but this is a troll free zone, which means anyone who's a troll, please leave this
Yeah,
podcast.
gone. All the problem's gone. Yeah.
Alright, tonight we're reviewing Warm Bodies that was released in year 2013.
That's an American paranormal romantic zombie comedy film. How's that
Yes.
one, grab it, guys?
I
It's a
know
mouthful.
I promised myself that I will not review a zombie film because of what's been happening.
But it's not a zombie film per se, is it? It
Yes.
is, but it isn't. It's not like an apocalyptic type movie or any ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's a comedy.
yeah, since the
Like Fido and stuff.
the lockdown started, I had concerns about talking or about movies that dealt with outbreaks and lockdowns and stuff like
Hey,
that.
this maybe do World War Z? Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm good. I like World War Z.
Anyway, so let's just go into the who stars and who directs
And all the good
and all
groovy
the
bits.
groovy bits.
Okay, this is my bit, guys.
Okay.
Okay, this is written by Jonathan Levine, who also directed the film. It was produced by David Homan, Todd Lieberman, and Bruna Papandreou, I believe is the right pronunciation is. Now, the exec producers were Laurie Webb and Corey Stern. This movie was based on a book by Isaac Marion.
And I imagine he got it from
Wait, can I actually
Shakespeare's.
finish what
I'm
I
just
was-
telling the audiences, guys, that he took it from Romeo and Juliet.
I know,
You know,
I was
Shakespeare's
gonna say
play.
that. I was going to say that.
I'm just gonna say it.
Who wrote it?
Will Shakespeare, dummy.
William Shakespeare, not Will Shakespeare.
Well, William Shakespeare.
Okay.
To
Anyway,
his friends.
this novel that Isaac Marion wrote has the same title as the movie, Warm Body. So if anyone's looking for the book later on, you can find it under the same title name.
Right.
Now, budget and box office. This is quite interesting. And this is what I like, these juicy figures. Budget about 35 million. If you see the movie, you understand why. Box office came in at 117 million.
Wow.
Now that is a good earner.
Really? Awesome.
And that's what you like to see when you make a movie.
Yes.
The more money they make, the more movies they can make.
True.
Aha,
And
now,
this one was a box office hit.
well, I don't know if it hit. It did quite well at the box office. Generally, the reception from the critics was lent towards being quite favourable. Even Rotten Tomatoes and Media Critic and that sort of stuff, they all praised it for what it was. I mean, it is a comedy, horror, zombie, romantic film,
So
and they allowed for the fact that it wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to be serious.
yeah, so
horror
this
movie. Yeah.
movie, unlike other movies we reviewed in the past, got nasty reviews. This is the only one I've seen that didn't have a nasty review attached to it.
Now, let's get into some actors here. Aha. Now, it's actually, we're talking about actors, it's really funny, right? Someone told me once that if you're in a movie and you got a part where you don't talk, you don't get as much money as somebody who has a talking part. Now, the zombies don't talk, so did
Yeah.
that mean they did it for free? No,
Yeah,
I was
and
joking.
moving on. So,
Anyway.
who stars in it? Mike?
Aha, I'm glad you asked. Now, the head main zombie is a young guy, Nicholas Hoult. Yeah, Hoult, Hoult, I believe it is. He plays a young teenage zombie who can't remember his real name, but he knows it started with the letter R, so he calls himself R. Now, when we think about Romeo and Juliet,
Yet.
that brings you on to the next bit. Teresa Palmer played Julie Grigio, I think is the right pronunciation of that role. So you got Romeo, maybe, and Julie, borrowed loosely from Shakespeare, probably. Anyway, R had a friend called M, and he was played by Rob Corddry. He had an interesting role. He's interesting actor. He played M, and M and R really had some good dialogue together. Would you say? Anyway, and there's a guy called Dave Franco played Perry. That was Julie's boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend, I should say.
I said boyfriend. A word boyfriend because they did retro stuff as well. So he was her boyfriend for parts of the movie. He died in the earlier part of the movie, but there's a bit of retro stuff done through the movie. So,
Yes, moving on.
yeah. Now, Annalee Tipton, she played Nora, Julie's friend. Now, she's a very interesting actress.
Yeah, originally it was supposed to be a Hispanic person to play this role, but they decided to make her a Caucasian in this movie.
But she's got an interesting look about her and a nice looking person, nice personality. Things came out, she's really cool and funny and everything.
Yes.
Now, my favourite. I like some of the older actors.
Yeah.
Being an old fellow myself, I turn 67 next birthday. You can send Christmas cards, birthday cards, whatever. No, John Malkovich.
Our favourite actor.
One of my favourite actors. I think he's underrated. He's been in lots of things over the years.
And we've been reviewing him in 2 other movies
Yeah, he was
already.
in Velvet Buzzsaw, or what was the other one?
And that one would be the Shadow of the Vampire.
That's right. Yeah, the one that the makeup biodrama thing. Yeah. It's good. Anyway, he plays Julie's dad, Colonel Grigio, or whatever his name is. And so there's the main cast. There's a cast of thousands of all the zombies and bonies and stuff running around, and some of the other people, but they're the main ones.
Yes. So.
Do you want to take over doing overview and telling the story thereof?
Yeah, I might as well. So it starts off with wandering in an airport environment, and it's most of his dialogue is all thinking related, like narration or voiceover stuff.
Well, yeah, zombies don't talk, so yeah, it's his thoughts done as a voiceover, because zombies don't talk, obviously.
Yes, so, and he feels very lonely, and he wants to better himself, but unfortunately, being a zombie doesn't allow him to be bettering himself very often.
Can't get a job.
True. And he kind of reflects on what life was like before the outbreak.
You can't remember too much of it.
We do have a flashback to the airport, the way it may have looked like, where everyone's on their phones, mobile phones.
And walking through, transit lounges and whatever.
Yeah, and he comments on how we might have communicated and been close, but I got a sinking feeling that the mobile phones symbolize how distant we were all, in the past.
Yeah. And by the way, though, the funny part is he I can't say he lived on an airplane. He sheltered on his own jet, full of things he collected, records and other things, snow cones and record. Yeah, he just collected things. Yeah. So he was a bit of a bowerbird, but he's on his own accommodation in a 747 or something or other. It looks really, really cool. And
he has a lot of stuff, even some old records and stuff he plays.
Yeah.
And of course, being he often played it on his record player thing.
Yeah, because he still misses that human side of life that he vaguely remembers. Yeah.
So anyway, he then introduces us to M, as we talked about, and he and I decide to go out hunting.
Dinner time.
Yes.
Guess what they eat, folks? Ain't McDonald's.
Yeah, so they end up doing a slow marching procedure with all their fellow zombies, and they run into the bonies. The bonies are very mutated zombies that they're completely really icky looking.
Yeah, they're the next level zombies where they sort of they start staking the skin off and stuff. They look really almost skeletal like.
Yeah, in one scene where he's during the voiceover, he says, "Oh, don't pick at it, don't pick at it." It's like having a picking at a zit or something.
Yeah, and he's picking off his skin and stuff. He's going to turn in. Yeah. See, once you get that way, the side of humanity you get left just disappears. At least you still look human. And all of a sudden you're going to look like a skeleton with the skin wrapped around you. Not a pleasant sight.
Yeah.
Actually, good special effects for those, though.
Agree,
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
So those bonies, they're like the last stage of to being a zombie, and then there's no way of going back.
Now here's one thing that both the zombies and the other ones, the bonies, both eat meat.
Yes. And he-
Now that comes into the remaining living people who are living in a city behind a big wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit like in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And they're sheltering in there, and they send people out on expeditions there
And patrols.
to hunt for foodstuffs and drugs and stuff. You know,
Or medic
medical
stuff.
Yeah,
In case they needed.
because the dead people don't need the medicine stuff.
True, true.
No.
So
Anyway.
anyway, Julie and and Noah and Perry, they're on a routine going in a group, and
Going to get the gear.
and they're going to go get some medication for the people inside the wall.
Yeah, in the wall city. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's at this point we see Julie in the scene that she's distanced from Perry, and because Perry is completely closed off to her.
Yeah, he's gone a bit cold toward us. So maybe Sarah, he's actually by this time he might be becoming the ex-boyfriend, or he might be the ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
But later on in the movie, there's retro stuff where they were an item. So
Yes. So anyway, they head off inside the big city, and while they're patrolling, looking for the medication in abandoned hospitals, they then hear a noise outside in the hallways, and then we see R and a few of the other zombies coming in force into the room.
for lunch.
Yes. And of course, we get a bit of a brief battle. Some of the people get eaten or chewed
Yeah.
on. And R attacks Perry, and he starts nibbling on him and saying how he doesn't want to hurt him, but if he doesn't, if he doesn't eat him, he'll die and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's kill or be killed. It's sort
Yeah.
of
And soon enough, he
eat
said,
or die.
yeah, and he says that if he doesn't eat the brain, he'll rise up to be a zombie too. But the brain is the best bit, according to
Yeah, because when you eat the brain, you get a taste of their memories as well. So yeah, it's like see zombies being dead.
or addiction.
Yeah, I know that, but they can't dream like we do. So
Yeah.
it's like memories and dreams for them.
Yeah,
even for somebody
so
else's.
R sees the memories, and he sees Julie in them, of course, and well, actually, at the beginning before the attack, he starts feeling something towards Julie, and it's like he fell in love with her the moment he sees her
Yeah,
in this scene.
because he wants something more than being a dead zombie.
Yes.
And he sees this pretty girl who
And
is a zombie.
So
And
he then pockets the remaining bits of brain in his gene pocket.
along with his victim's watch. He
Yes.
liked the watch.
He then turns
He
his
took the
attention.
watch.
He then turns his attentions to Julie, whom is hiding in the corner. She tries to take one of those knives that were hidden in her boot and tries to stab him in the
You
chest.
can't kill a zombie with a knife.
And soon enough,
Hasn't she read the script?
yes, soon enough he takes it out, and he then tells her He then uses some of his dead blood to put on her face.
So she smells old and dead.
Yeah, and he tells her to come with him.
Keep safe or something. He said
Yeah,
he can mumble the odd word at this point in time.
Yeah, just one word or two words
Yeah.
at a time. So he then takes her back to the airport, to his airplane that we mentioned, and he then protects her as much as he can, even though she's still frightened of him.
Nervous, yeah. Who would not be?
Mm-hmm.
If I was stuck for zombie all night or something, even for a few minutes, I'd be a bit worried about on the menu.
Yeah, so she stays there with him for the next couple of days. She starts wondering why he's so different from other zombies.
Yeah, you get typecast. Everyone thinks they're all the same.
Yeah.
Brains.
Yeah.
Romero, look what you've done to zombies, okay? Okay.
Soon enough,
George.
after a while, he starts nibbling on Perry's brain, viewing more of his memories. By the time he's done with the final bit of brain, he sees Perry's memory of his dad getting killed by the zombies, and was probably where Perry changes, maybe going from boy to manhood, and starting to think coldly to Julie and to everyone around him, I imagine.
Possibly. Sounds like a plan to me.
Yes, and eventually, by this time, when sees the memory, this is the memory where it comes to the point where Perry dies, and I imagine it's a painful memory. And
Well, I was killing him.
Yes.
So he didn't like the most, so he spat that one out.
yeah, feeling a bit upset that that part of himself was in that memory.
Yeah, R doesn't like being a zombie.
Yes.
That's quite clear throughout the movie.
Yeah. Soon enough, Julie does eventually escape, and with R's help, they get out of the airport while being chased by those bony creatures.
Yeah.
And of course,
Interesting.
yeah. Of course, the other zombies try to stop her too, but they somehow weren't gonna really interfere with R's helping her.
Because they realised that were they holding hands in that scene?
Yeah, they were holding hands, and
And the other zombies have got vague memories still of what it was like being alive, and they see this and go,
even
he likes
even
her.
M kind of helps them
Okay.
escape out of there by sort of driving one of those, what do you call them?
well, those little little tugs that the baggage handlers use to take all the luggage around on the airport tarmac. Little thing about the size of half a car
Yeah.
almost. Yeah.
We even hear more of Marcus's dialogue in this scene.
He starts to get an extra word or two.
Yeah. it's
And
anyways.
he helps to save them,
Yeah.
and
Soon enough, they get into a car that's a
a little sports car. or
little
something,
sports car that's run down, but it has few bits of petrol left in it.
Yeah, some petrol left, obviously.
And they soon drive, to a suburban area, that abandoned suburban
no one
area,
living there.
and they kind of stay there for a while, light a few
hours.
candles and just settled in. Of course, R reveals to Julie that he killed her boyfriend, and he reveals the watch that he stole from her boyfriend.
He
And
felt a bit guilty.
yeah, eventually,
Yeah, nice.
somehow R finally closes his eyes and starts dreaming.
And zombies don't dream.
Usually they just lie there maybe and just wait for the next. They just don't.
Something's changing here, folks.
Yes. He then dreams of Julie and her friends and and then when he wakes up the next morning, Julie's already gone and the car's gone, and let's just say pretty much she's gone back to her.
Her protected area where
Yeah.
Daddy is and everybody else.
Yes. And
Shame.
and prepares his journey back to the airport or whatever, and he begins reflecting on the fact he'll never change, that there's no chance that she'll see him other than being a zombie.
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it? Very racist, this movie, isn't it? Yeah,
Well,
zombies
just
and
remember,
live people. And,
it's not racist.
It is.
I mean, it's just that it's a Romeo and Juliet story, Mike. I mean,
oh, okay.
I mean-
wrong family. Mhm.
yeah,
He's a family of zombies. Okay,
yeah, he
right.
came from the wrong side of the tracks.
Is he one
and
of your Capulet? I can't remember.
I don't know who was Romeo in.
I can't remember. I haven't read it for years.
Yes, so anyway, R meets up with M and a couple of other zombies, and they tell R that they've been changing and their hearts start beating
Yeah,
again
yeah.
for some reason, and the bony creatures are starting to notice the changes.
They can smell the difference because they're starting to smell a bit like human beings again instead of zombies.
Yes. Anyway, I suggest to them that to help and try to change if they can.
Yeah.
And of course, Marcus agrees, and they soon enough head towards the wall where all the real survivors are
Yeah.
held up.
Yeah.
And of course, goes using Perry's memories,
He finds his way
inside a secret.
Yeah, down through the subway.
Yeah,
Subway.
through the subway.
Yeah, somehow or other, he finds a way back into this little secret entrance that they used.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
Buck loves
soon
the
enough,
girl. Julie.
gets through, and he then eventually finds Julie's home.
Because he had the boyfriend's memory. It makes things so easy, just like a GPS.
Yes, and eventually in this scene we see Julie on the balcony, and he talks up to her,
old
just like
balcony scene.
just like we've seen in or heard about in the stories.
Remy, where for art thou? I'm over here. Yeah, well, yeah, but
Julie is the east, and all that crap. So anyway, he tells her he's sorry and that things are changing, that they're dreaming, and thinking of new memories.
And Julie introduces him to her friend Nora.
Yeah,
Nora,
and she notices that right away that he doesn't smell rotten, or maybe that was just a rumor. Or
well, no, he doesn't smell as rotten as he used to because he's turning back to normal flesh again.
Yeah, even Julie, when she hugged him, she
spew,
felt like he's getting kind of warmer, meaning his body's temperature is going up.
I could say something.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No.
Well, I
No.
could. Okay. I'm not in the trouble. I might take off the air, hey?
Uh-huh.
Okay, right.
So anyway, they suggest that they should try to take him to her dad, but they first need to do a makeover. And it's funny, this scene.
Yeah, it's quite funny. They're doing a makeup on it. See, the Nora has a bit of spare makeup. She was saving for a special occasion. Says, what special occasion? So she got that, and then started doing face up. And then she puts on a record.
Well, yeah,
Roy Orbison's Pretty Woman. And Julie says, turn that song off. What's the matter?
Well, it is a bit wrong.
And put another song on.
A little bit more moderner. Or
another. I can't remember it. John Waite's Babies. Whatever.
I don't know. Eventually, they add a bit of foundation. He has a shower.
A nice warm glow to his face.
And he looks like human again.
Yeah, it looks like death warmed up. Sorry.
So anyway, he and Julie, they head into the streets, and he tries to act normal as possible. Even when he sees a soldier there, he says, "Hello, how are you?"
Yeah, see,
how you doing, or something like that.
Doing, yeah.
And he does it more like, "How you doing?" Like he doesn't speak.
Is that word?
Yeah, he says.
Sorry, what did he say? He said that word.
Great. Or
no, he said something. Yeah. They did it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Yes, yeah, nailed it.
Yeah, in his voiceover,
okay.
he says he kept saying in his mind, "Say something normal. Say something human." Yada yada yada.
Oh yeah. Or something. Yeah. Nailed it.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Well, he's starting to talk better.
The general soon meets him, and he doesn't take it that. Pretty much doesn't believe
He doesn't
them.
believe Julie that the zombie guy is changing, so he just wants to kill him.
Yeah, but eventually Nora takes out her gun and
aims at the colonel.
Yeah, not fires it or anything, just to stop him from shooting R.
Yeah, let R and Julie run away
Yeah.
to fight another day.
Yeah, eventually they run down alleyway. They go back to where the secret entrance is to avoid the soldiers who are going to probably hunt them.
Aha.
Or hunt R anyway.
There you go.
Anyway, eventually they do meet up with M and the other zombies, and this time there is a bigger group of zombies.
More of the zombies are coming together because they're starting to feel a change.
Yeah.
It's becoming infectious.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting to care about things that human beings care about, like love and other things, and it's starting to get that spark of humanity back inside their chest.
Yeah.
Hence the heartbeats.
Yeah. And eventually, they're not too far away. The Bonies track probably the remaining zombies and are about to try to attack.
Because zombie meat, fresh meat, same thing.
Yes, because see these bony creatures, they're attracted to hearts. Meaning they're not just interested in the brains, they're into, eating anything.
And not smelly meat.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So So M and the rest of the zombies, they take care of the bonies, while R and Julie try to make a run for it as much as they can.
Yeah. Now, but at the same time, don't the troops start coming
Yeah,
in?
the troops coming in.
Because they're worried about all these zombies and everything.
Yeah, and bonies
getting close to the city.
Yeah, in one scene where one of the army guys, his name's Kevin, I think.
Oh, Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh, hello,
Yeah.
Kevin.
And he and his group, they get attacked by bony creatures, and one of the zombies jumps out and attacks both bony creatures, and he helps him up, in a nice
and
way.
he tells the colonel on
Yeah.
a two-way radio that, hey, the zombies are helping us.
Yes, and another
Yeah.
group of soldiers, they see the zombies attacking the bonies, and they wonder, who do we shoot?
And they start shooting the
Bony
the bony
creatures.
ones, who seem to
Yeah.
be naughty ones. And M's going, when they're coming past,
He says hi.
hi, to all the guys coming past.
Yeah.
She's trying to be friendly. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, anyway, and Julie, well, it looks really dim for Julie and R. There's like so many bonies around. They're about to try to escape through another door, but which leads to nowhere, and that will lead them down, which could end up a very big mess.
Well,
but
yeah, I don't know how they got that high, though. They must have been running around up a building or something. I don't know.
up and down, maybe.
Who
so,
knows?
Who knows? So eventually, R takes Julie in his arms, and he and her fall.
He falls backwards, so he's going to fall into this pond of water.
Yeah.
And break her fall so she can survive, and he was prepared to give his life for it. Isn't that nice?
Eventually, they do crash into the water. He hits his head at the bottom of the water.
I don't know if he hits his head, but I think the
impact would
the
do it.
impact of the water would be enough to knock you out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
we think that the worst, but then Julie eventually pulls him by the collar out of the water, and you
And-
see the major change in him.
Is that when his eyes changed to normal eyes?
Yeah, his eyes turn back into a
Normal eyes.
bluish eyes.
Yeah.
But originally,
They
they're
were sort of a
they're slight
grey
greyish
sort
eyes,
of-
but they suddenly start
Yeah,
changing.
zombie-looking eyes, and these are back to the more human eyes.
Yeah, and soon enough, the army soldiers are there, including her dad, and they shoot at him in the shoulder.
And he starts bleeding human blood.
Yeah.
Fresh human blood.
Yeah.
O positive. My favourite.
Yes. So anyway, they then realize that the zombies are changing after all, and there's a second chance for humanity to begin
Yeah.
again.
And so the good zombies and the troops band forces
Yep.
and band together, and they
Defeat the bonies.
the bonies, and they kill most of them off. Then the other bonies left to die of starvation, and lo and behold, they take the wall down in the end.
Yeah, and all the zombies, they begin their life again, try to remember what it was like to be human again.
Yeah, and being rehumanized, and
And the humans connected with the zombies, they try to help them re-enter society. Or
yeah, exactly
whatever.
right.
Yeah, and of course, then they bring down the wall, meaning that the pop clips or whatever is over.
Yeah, exactly. And it lovely, and it lived happily ever after.
Yeah, as I said before, I often think that this movie is a very hopeful movie. The other day, I was listening to a famous filmmaker, and he told me that the one things that the audience aspire to in movies is hope and fear,
Yeah.
and this
Strong emotions.
and strong emotions do appeal in these movies.
Yeah, so strong the emotion of fear and the emotion that everything's going to work out in the end. All those good, strong emotions, they work in a movie. Don't forget a good storyline. That really helps too. Yeah,
True.
But the emotions really work, as does the music score, which helps to inspire or to fuel the emotions
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you get the right musical score, the right dialogue, and everything else.
So these guys
Yeah.
who made this movie, they kind of
They got it right, I think.
got it right in the end.
Oh, I reckon they got it right. but
And
yeah.
so we got a winner, obviously.
We got a winner. Oh, a winner. Sorry, Mum. So, yeah. I like winners. No.
Don't be a
Okay.
deuce.
I can't help it.
Yeah, so we got a winner in this movie. So
Well, the box office said so.
I think so. Yeah.
Now,
Now let me see.
I'm not going to go too much.
Oh, I should mention
Oh,
when
yeah.
they were preparing for those roles as zombies, the cast and extras went through zombie boot camp where they learned to move and react as walking zombies.
They actually went with circus people and worked with the circus people, knew how to. It's like probably clowns and acrobats and whatever, different things, and they learned to actually behave differently and whatever. And yeah, so it was a circus boot camp more than anything else.
Yeah.
Interesting,
So
eh?
anyway, another thing I should bring up, in our home airport, the abandoned airplane scene, it turns out he owned a Blu-ray of the movie Zombie Flesh Eaters, which was done in 1979. And according to this, they say this was one of the greatest zombie movies of all time. Although I don't believe it for a
What zombie
second.
flesh eaters?
Yes.
I must get a copy of that and have a look at it.
Although I do feel the Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, and Dawn of the Dead are not all bad
Did
zombie
George
movies.
Romero make those ones as well?
Yes.
Yeah, good old George. Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with those ones. I don't know why.
Were they low budgets, like the early ones?
Yeah, I think that they started off as low budget.
Yeah. Anyway, very.
But there's nothing wrong for low budget film, guys.
No, I didn't say that. That's what George Romero and other people excelled at. They made a pretty good movie using a low budget. And you remember we were talking about that a couple of months ago, that Alfred Hitchcock got inspired by guys like George Romero and stuff. They can make a damn good movie on a limited budget. And he got the idea when he to do that when he made Psycho. He made that on a shoestring budget. So yeah, so these new guys, like George Romero was new back in those days, and other people like him, inspired people who are already in the industry.
Yeah, another
to do
example.
similar.
Another example is that. Did you know that I found this out in one of my magazines? I found out that when they were making Jaws, Steven Spielberg's Jaws, he got inspired by the Alfred Hitchcock Psycho movie,
Really?
where the your first victim is a woman, and that kind of knocks the story in a loop, or gets people starting to
The first death really early in the movie.
yes,
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
which is I never mentioned this before, but I found out about that. It was pretty kind of cool.
That's interesting. Well, you get a couple of deaths early on. It sets the scene for the movie, doesn't it?
Agreed.
Gets the atmosphere going. Woo. Anyway, what I was going to say about this here, I won't go too much into it. There's too much about too many things. But we did mention that they actually had to go to zombie school and whatever and that sort of stuff. It was done in actually Montreal in Canada.
Huh.
Started filming and production in about 2011, and the airport scenes being shot at the Montreal Mirabel International Airport. Now, I sometimes wonder how the hell you can get access to an international airport and make it look so deserted and get all your filming done. I don't know. It's like a Sunday or something, or a quiet day, or here, there, and whatever. I don't know how to do it. It was great. There wasn't a living, there wasn't a living person inside. That's a joke, a living person. You're supposed to go ho ho, very funny.
Ha
but
ha.
but there's no baggage handlers hiding around the corner. There's nobody there. So it looked really good. It really kept a good effect going.
Yeah, well, this is
Yeah.
one zombie movie that doesn't you don't question its story.
It came along good and it looked good. I mean, when you get some of this shooting on location, not green screens and stuff, you really have to work hard to make it look real.
True.
Because when they're driving back to the walled city there down the roads, they had junk all over the place and dump cars or whatever, and you do aerial views and there's nothing there apart from the junky stuff and everything else. I mean, I'm not a filmmaker. I don't know how to do it. Maybe there's a lot of superimposing and stuff. I've got no idea how to do it, but it looks desolate in a city. It's great.
Agreed.
Anyway, release informations. Okay, it was released in January 2013 in the Philippines, Greece, and Russia.
Ooh, wow.
and then it was released about a couple of days later in the United States. A few days later or a week later. Now, its opening weekend, it collected 22.3 million.
Wow.
It has returned a box office of 66.4 million within the US and an additional 50.6 million worldwide. So that's what a film producer wants to hear.
Right, right.
Oh yeah, well, money. I mean, I hate the money side of it. I like the art better, but if you can make money out of doing a good movie, then you can go and make the next movie. But I hate people focusing just on the money side of it because half the time the movie quality goes down and they don't make as much money anyway. So anyway, reviews. I won't go into all the reviews, but Rotten Tomatoes got an 81% rating, which is damn good, from 203 critics. Not 10, not 8, 203 people took the time to vote on it. So that's not bad. And Metacritic gave a score of 60 out of 100 based on 39. I won't go on all the other ones, different newspapers and magazines, but generally it was quite favourable. Except for the odd nong who thought, oh, well, it wasn't quite as scary as it could have been. Right? It's a freaking comedy, you know.
Yeah, I just don't know what. I don't know what.
Some of these critics got no idea. It's supposed to be a romantic comedy. Yeah, if it's too horrific, it ain't going to be a romantic comedy, is it? However.
Yeah, I mean, once upon a time, guys, I mentioned this probably in the past, that in a lot of old movies, like the ones that your grandparents or your mother and father probably watched, those ones had horror, but they also had comedy and a bit of love interest in it.
But there's too many cross genres now, I think. When you go, this is a romantic, horror, comedy, zombie flick, you've got too many genres come together, and some of these critics got no idea how to take it.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. You look at an old movie, we're going to do a comedy horror. We're going to horror, got Frankenstein or Wolfman running around, and you throw Abbott and Costello in there. You go, okay, we're going to have the horror bit there. There's some comedy bits there.
Or a horror supernatural in some
whatever.
cases.
And you go and do that, and it's clearly defined, and even the simplest minds can pick up on the fact that there's a horror bit and there's a comedy bit. But if it gets a bit more involved, some of the critics got no idea on how to appraise it. So yeah, whatever.
I gotta admit though, I do like the odd mash of different genres into in one film. Then you have something for everyone in it.
Well, you look at Jason X. What was that? Was that a sci-fi or a horror?
Good point.
It was a futuristic one done in space, on a spaceship, but it was a horror movie.
And a bit of comedy thrown in it too.
A little bit of comedy thrown in, yeah, to lighten up a little bit. So you possibly got three genres in the one movie. And that's where some of these critics say, oh, I didn't like it because it wasn't purely horror, it wasn't purely science fiction. Rah, 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 rah. I'll blow it out your ear, honestly. Yeah. Appreciate a good movie for what it is. And this is a good movie.
Quite right.
I like it.
Yeah. So, should we rate this movie now, or do you have anything else to add?
No, I'll just keep on talking and make and bore the people and stuff, and they go put their pajamas on and go feed the cat, and I'll come back and I'll still be talking. So no, I think it's about time for me to shut up.
Yes. So, how do you rate this movie?
Look, I like it. It's one of the. I like comedy horrors and stuff, and this is right down that nice little alley that I like. I'm going to give this a 10. I don't often give a 10. I do it because it's different. It's not the same stuff churned out. And when I see some things churned out or parodies and stuff, sometimes, well, parody, they're borrowing an idea from somewhere else. This is a fresh idea, and I think you've got to give these guys credit for making up a fresh idea out of a book. And I always maintain when talking to Sarah that most good movies come from books. They don't just make up a script and bung it together. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. But when you got a good book to start with, it does make the screenwriting part a lot easier. So, having said that, yeah, 10. This is a good one.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 too because as I said, we said in the past, this one has a lot of everything for everyone in this
Yeah.
movie.
Everything for the kiddies. Well, if the kiddies aren't too young, that is.
If you're looking at 13,
Or under adult supervision. Well, there isn't any sex scenes in it, but there is a bit of chewing people up and everything. So yeah, it's a bit yeah. So depending on what your kids are like.
yes. So this is well, I think that's about it for us tonight. So thanks for listening to our podcast, guys.
It is available on DVD and probably even Blu-ray. I don't know.
Yeah.
I read it
Yeah.
somewhere. You can get it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes.
So go and get a copy, folks. This is a good one.
And as we often say in the past, guys, do not always judge the movie from our point of view. Just go out and watch it yourself.
We try to be fair. And there's some people out there who do critiques like this, and all they want to do is bag a movie, or they work on body counts and how many deaths, how many
How
minutes it was.
gruesome it may be.
Yeah, how many minutes it was before the first death happened. They do, and okay, that's the way they want to handle the podcast. We try to give a fair, balanced
Yeah,
look
and
at
analyse the movie.
and analyse the movie, so we think it's a good one. So go and have a look. Your local video shop might have it, or you might be able to download a rented copy from. Does Amazon rent them? I can't
Yeah.
remember. Yeah. Amazon places like that may rent you a copy for a couple of bucks. Go and have a look at it. It's good fun.
Or just plain old go on YouTube and hire or rent a copy.
Well, I said that. Yeah, rent a copy. You can go is YouTube or Amazon, some places you can actually rent a copy. Yeah, download
Yes.
it and watch it. Yeah.
Yes.
Good
so,
value.
thanks for listening to this latest podcast, guys. This is Sarah Stevenson
And Michael Stevenson.
saying we'll see you guys for the next one.
Grrr. Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.